In this video, I'm going to talk about the 3 things that top producing insurance agents do that you don't, and some of these might come as a surprise. So if you're interested in becoming a top producing insurance agent, no matter what you're selling, then make sure you stick around. My name is David Duford. I own Duford Insurance Group, where I train and recruit agents nationally to sell final expense Medicare annuities and ACA face-to-face and over the phone. Learn more at davidduford.com/FAQ. So let's jump right in. What are the 3 things that top insurance agents do that those of you out there who aren't top insurance agents don't do? It's pretty simple. It's number 1, do what works. 2, lose more than you. And 3, simplify the complex. So let's go ahead and break this down and provide a little bit more context as to what all of this means. Number 1, do what works. Now that might seem obvious, right? Successful people do the things that make them successful, but if life was only that simple. There is this phenomenon I have noticed with a lot of people in life. They come into a business or they come into an opportunity, and lo and behold, they think that they're the first person who's ever thought outside of the box, out of the norm, and comes up with these highfalutin ideas to market differently, to find prospects differently. Or instead of spending what I should spend on leads, maybe I should do something a little different. Save some money, not spend as much money wastefully. And what happens to these agents? They end up circling the proverbial bowl to be flushed out of the business sooner than later. Now, what do the top insurance agents do instead? Well, they do what works. And more clarity, they don't question what works. They actually take the plan, the blueprint, which has been proven numerous times before that they got in the business, and follow the directions they were given. For example, agents in final expense, the successful ones, guess what most of them do who sell face-to-face? They buy direct mail leads like it's always worked, and then go see them in person to sell them on the first call. They don't contract with a million different carriers or use a lot of different types of lead sources. They do the fundamentals really, really well, and they just continuously follow it. For example, John Duggar, a guy who's been in the business close to 20 years now, great final expense agent, a guy who writes $250,000, give or take, every single year, just a couple of days in the field. He's literally done the same thing as he does in 2022 at this recording that he did back in the mid-2000s. Like, you could look at his day in 2022 versus 10 plus years ago. It's literally the same thing. Now, what does that tell you? Do you need creativity? Do you need to come up with some new mousetrap on how to market and sell final expense insurance in this case? No, just do what's been proven to work. So as you look into your own life of wherever it is that you're selling, look at who the top producers are. Find the ones who aren't successful just for a couple of months and then disappear. That happens a lot in this business. But look for the people who may not be writing as much as the big time people, but who are consistently writing good business, not for months, but for years and years and years. Find out what they're doing, duplicate what they do, and then don't change anything. Don't change things major. Just follow the given system and consistently execute it day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. Another thing that top producers do more than you do is fail. Now, isn't that kind of a funny concept? You know, you would think that people who aren't as successful, who are probably more likely a failure. That is not the case at all. There's this paradox in the insurance world where the most successful people in insurance sales typically have heard no probably exponentially more than the new agent has and will hear for many years to come. You see, the best agents, when they work a lead system or presentation system, probably hear no the majority of the time, setting appointments, running appointments, selling policies, then they actually hear the yes. So there's this kind of paradox of success where, yes, you're successful, but you hear no all the time, and you're kind of surrounded constantly by no's, maybes, I'll think about it, as opposed to yeses as the majority. And it has this deleterious effect potentially on the mind. But what the experienced top producer agent has realized is that the more no's you hear, assuming you're following that system consistently, you'll also experience more yeses. And the value of those yeses far outstrips the cost of those no's to the point where there's in many cases, a high return on investment and what turns out to be a lucrative career. So moral of the story, You gotta experience failures to experience successes in life and certainly in insurance. Number 3, the top producing agents simplify the complex. There are some of you out there who have that personality trait of perfectionism. You want to know everything about everything before you go actually try to put this stuff into use. And that's a problem because you just won't do it. How do I know? Well, I've recruited thousands upon thousands of agents since 2013, and every time I've run into this kind of analytical perfectionist type, they never actually take flight and go into the first home because they're so anxious and worried that everything has to be just so and perfect that they never actually help the first person. The beautiful thing about sales and performance is that you don't have to be perfect to be good. In fact, perfect is the enemy of good. You just got to be good enough. But again, another paradox of this business is the way in which you get good, better, and then become the best is by what? Taking that leap of faith, willing to try things, even though you are quite aware you don't know everything, and go through this process of making mistakes, getting feedback from those mistakes, and then vowing to never repeat those mistakes again. And as you go through doing sales presentations as a new agent, you start to shore up those problems. You stop making those same mistakes, and what you'll find is you get better and better and better, and you lift yourself out of kind of mediocrity to being a higher performer. So the point is, don't make this business any more complex than it is. It really just comes down to seeing the people, getting out of your house or on the phone, talking to prospects, seeing what their problems are, and offering solutions to solve them, and then asking for the sale too, but then repeating that process consistently every single week. Some final thoughts on these 3 things here. It's interesting. I've been in business since 2011. I've talked to lots of agents over the years, lots of top producers, and you would think the higher productive agents are the more intelligent ones, and probably in some level there's a little bit higher brain power for people who make a lot of money, but it's not by that much. You know, these kind of people you wouldn't recognize off the street as being top producers. They otherwise act in the same kind of normality that you and I do. But what makes them different is in the margins of things. It's in the little things that they do better and then more consistently than you. And the key word is consistency here. Everybody experiences rejection. Everybody experiences frustration. Everybody has doubts. Everybody has to take the leap of faith. What you're going through as a new agent is nothing unique. It's exactly what all of us have had to do. But what the experienced pro knows is that is par for the course. That's in a day's work. And your job as an agent is to deal with that stuff and apply the fundamentals consistently. So people like John Duggar, like I mentioned earlier, and you can look at some YouTube interviews I've done with him to kind of see what I'm talking about. What he does is he takes everything we talk about on this channel, what other producers talk about that do very well, and consistently applies and executes every single day for years upon years upon years. And the ultimate culmination of all this is a successful, highly financially successful life, a personally successful life, and a great career. It's when you don't consistently execute on these fundamentals, simplifying the complex, embracing the fact that you're going to fail, but also accepting its opportunity for growth and sticking to the fundamentals, that's when things fall apart. And it's a shame that there's not enough people in this business who do this well, who are at the level of being an influencer on YouTube or other platforms, shouting to the world that fundamentals matter. And it's the consistent execution of those things that matter, not some magical script, not some magical lead, but taking what is known to work and consistently applying it every single day. So stop being a mediocre agent, become a top producer, and follow these fundamental tenets to get you better results. My name is David Duford. If you'd like to learn more about joining my agency, go to davidduford.com/FAQ to learn more. Thank you.